Arizona Science is supported by Research Corporation for Science Advancement.
For AZPM, I'm Leslie Tolbert, Regents Professor Emerita in Neuroscience at the University of Arizona, and this is Arizona Science. Our guest today is Anna Dornhaus, Professor of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology. Anna is interested in complex social organization, how collective behaviors arise from the actions of individuals, and she focuses her studies on social insect societies. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you, Leslie. Glad to be here.
So you've talked with us before about the complexity of certain insect societies. You've talked about ants and bees as social insects. What are you learning most recently about how insects in either of the kinds of colonies you study communicate with each other and make decisions?
So one of the things we're really interested in is what the collective consequences of different individual-based decisions are. So, for example, we've known for a long time that bees or ants can communicate with each other, for example, about food sources. So an ant might discover a very good food source and then lay a pheromone trail back to the nest so that other ants can find the same food source. Now, that seems obviously a good idea because information is shared among collaborating individuals in the same society. But it actually has some drawbacks that aren't obvious when you first look at it. If the world changes, for example, that resource is not so good anymore, or if other good resources appear, the colony actually has a really hard time collectively to reallocate its efforts to change its mind and exploit these new opportunities.
So do you have people coming to you, engineers especially, coming to you with questions that only you can answer because you've seen what a complex insect colony can do to answer that kind of question?
Recently, we had a project in which we were interested in applying these insights to cybersecurity. So we were interested in understanding, in this case, how you can protect a computer from computer viruses or malware. And the idea was that the current system is essentially your computer that's sitting on your desk has its own defense system, its own immune system. But unlike the human immune system, which is very distributed, it has lots of agents that are walking around independently, your computer system is very hierarchical. There's basically a gateway where everybody gets checked. Every bit of information that comes into your computer has to go through your virus software and be checked for cleanness or safety. And this is incredibly cost inefficient because as you imagine a network of computers growing, if every computer has to do its own virus scanning, the effort that goes into virus scanning increases with the number of computers. These engineers basically predict that our conventional way of dealing with computer viruses will eventually cease to work at all because the costs are ever increasing, but the infectiousness, if you will, of these computer viruses is also increasing. So the idea of these computer scientists was to instead have a mobile immune system in a company's or governmental or university computer network where you have mobile virus scanners. There are software agents that move around, kind of like ants, that then alert each other to suspicious information and recruit each other so that once one element of suspicion has occurred, one suspicious computer code has been discovered, other types of tests can then be performed because viruses often, infect a network just like a medical virus infects a human society at one point, and then it spreads from there. And so we can make use of that in a cybersecurity domain by recruiting these so-called white worms, these computer agents, to the places where an infection has occurred. By using strategies that ants use to direct collective behavior and applying them to these white worms, these computer software agents, we can make virus cybersecurity or virus scanning much more effective, especially on large networks.
Thanks very much, Anna. This is absolutely fascinating. The extrapolation you make from insect societies to computers and human societies is so timely and based on really hard science done in your laboratory. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks very much for having me.
Dr. Anna Dornhaus is a leading expert in mechanisms that underlie complex social behavior. You can listen to this and all Arizona Science conversations at azpm.org/Arizona Science. I'm Leslie Tolbert.
Thank you to Research Corporation for Science Advancement for their support of Arizona Science.